Sport is more than a game. Welcome to the sport business. The soft power, the sport washer, the beauty of the game, the language, sport and politics, the dream and the glory. Subscribe.
We often ask ourselves, isn't sport another way of doing politics? And suddenly many images come back to our mind, like Qatar World Cup 2022. It wasn't a summer World Cup, it was a winter World Cup. The upcoming World Cup in the US 2026. Oh, I'm sorry, not the US, North America World Cup with Mexico and Canada. The Olympics Games with the big story about the Olympics is a period of stop war between countries, between nations, and is still a moment to showing power. It's not like games is a moment to show what I have in my country. Is a moment to show the power of the country and the Olympics Games. We can take also some soccer games, clubs or international teams, soccer games. If we go to the club, we can take the famous Clásico in Spain, Real Madrid against Barcelona, a big war between two big cities in Spain, two different culture, two different mentality, two different types of economy, Catalonia and Madrid. We can also take as an example some international teams games, the US against Germany, the US against Iran, Russia against Japan, France against Italy, Argentina against England, oh, of course, Honduras against Salvador. Yes, sport is no longer just a game. Today, sport is a language or universal language. Sport is a tool of negotiation. Sport is a tool of power. Sport as a weapon of change. All poor country can use sport to have an identity. All poor country can use sport to build a nation. Ladies and gentlemen, you are in Coseri. My name is Jean Lauren. In this edition of Coseri, we're gonna make a long travel from Doha to Kingston or Port-au-Prince to Washington. Don't forget, share this video, like this video. The most important,
Subscribe. Sport is more than a
The term of soft power means the ability of a country to influence without war, the ability to get a name without disrespect another country, the ability to raise your flag without down another one by disrespect or any damage and abuse, is to prove shroud without threatening, is one of the best way to show up your country, your culture, what you have, what you can share to the entire world. When Qatar hosted the World Cup of 2022, it wasn't only about wow country, building stadium, give works to pretty much millions of people. It was different thing. It was the voice of the Middle East. It was the image of a country who would like to share something to the entire world. At this time, Qatar shared what they got in this country, what is the roots of this country, what they like, what they love, or what they don't. It was a moment to show the capacity, the abilities to host some big event in this world. It was a moment when they say, yes, we are here. This is our voice. This is what we can do, and many, many, many more. That's why we are the first country to invest this amount in a World Cup organization. The World Cup of 2022, it was one of the World Cup with the highest investment of all time. Yes, it was the voice of the Middle East. And yes, we can say that before the World Cup of 2022, less people know things about Qatar. But after that, yes, they know it was the final when Mbappe scored 3 goals. The first time Messi won the World Cup, it was in Qatar. At the same time, we can take another example, the upcoming World Cup of 2026 in the US. As they did it before in 1994, when the US hosted the World Cup for the first time, it was the World Cup of the New World. It was the World Cup of the free world. It was the World Cup of the New World Order. It was the World Cup when we stopped the bipolar war, two big wars between URSS and the US. World Cup of 1994 and the US is a symbolic World Cup that every television, many people knows better what is soccer. Yes, less people watch it in the US, but the 1994 World Cup in the US was a big thing for the entire world because, as I said before, sport as a weapon of soft power, the US knows how to use it because after the World Cup in 1994, they host the Olympics game in 1996. Between 2 years, the US hosts the most important event or sport in the world. We talk about the World Cup and the Olympics game. So that's mean the new World Cups oncoming in 2026 will be a big, big, big event for the North America as they did it before. I repeat myself. So it will be the time for the US to show their culture. We talk about Coca-Cola, we talk about Hollywood, we talk about Pepsi, we talk about a moment to show of the world what I can do, what I have, how is my economy, how my capacity to host big event, the my capacity to share with the entire world what I have in my country. We can take as another example the Rugby World Cup in 1995 with Nelson Mandela. So when South Africa won this World Cup, it was a very big message. It was a example, a real example that sport can change this world because we all know the story of Nelson Mandela. He spent more than 25 years in jail because he fought to have another answer for his country. He fought against apartheid in South Africa. And after all of that, he's going to make a unification of his country with this World Cup in 1995. It was a big answer to show sport can do everything. Everything sport can do to free a nation. Yes, yes. 1995 Rugby World Cup in South Africa, it wasn't just a tournament, it was a national reconciliation. Yes, it was a victory of peace over division. It was a raise of a nation. And at this time, sport became a silent diplomacy. Yes, it was a unification of a country of many years of division. It was to convince peoples to party play to be happy together without violence. And you can imagine that after those years of division, South Africa in 1 second, for 1 hour, everybody played, everybody was happy together. That is the power of sport, ladies and gentlemen. So we can also say sport is a massive economic thing, is a massive economic power. Billion dollars invest in sport and million jobs create in this industry because the sport industry is a very big industry all over the world. We can take many examples. If we start with Morocco, so now today you see the result of Morocco, and I know that you know Morocco will host the World Cup of 2030s. After 2026 and the US, it will be Morocco in 2030s, and Morocco started these big investments in 2000, and since this time they never give up. They tried to host the World Cup of 2006 or 2010. Anytime they failed, they keep walking because they knew if you keep walking, you will have the result. If you keep walking, the kids will have a better life. If you keep walking, the kids will have a way to dream. And we see the result right now. Everybody knows Akraf Hakimi, one of the Moroccan players. Everybody knows El Nesri, the last World Cup under 20s against Argentina, a big nation of soccer. So that's mean they have the result in two big races. They have the result and the stadiums have a capacity to host the big soccer event right now and they create million jobs in their country. After Morocco, we can take the examples of Qatar. After the World Cup of 2022, we know the best way that Qatar invests in sport is in beIN Sport, one of the biggest media of sport in the world. They invest in sport with PSG, Paris Saint Germain. They won the Champions League last year. That's mean when you invest your money in sport, you will have the result back, and you can use the sport as a big power, as a weapon of change, as a voice to talk about you, to talk about your country. And at the same token, ladies and gentlemen, poor country use sport to have a name also. Poor country use sport to say yes, we are here also. We have your our voice to be listening. We can take an example of Jamaica. Everybody has an idea about Jamaica. Somebody knows the Jamaica with herbs. Somebody knows the Jamaica with smoking, reggae music, Bob Marley. Somebody knows the Jamaica with beautiful beach, Caribbean culture, beautiful people, Montego Bay, and everything. Somebody knows the Jamaica with big violence, but somebody knows also the Jamaica with sport. With a man, Asafa Powell, we know that guy. It was a very good sprinter for Jamaica. Usain Bolt, ladies and gentlemen, won 29 medals for Jamaica. So when you talk about Jamaica, we also talk about Usain Bolt, one man who raised the flag for nation, and everybody in the world knows at this time Usain Bolt was the fastest man in the world. It was a work of investment in school, of a little tournament when kids keep wanting, keep practicing. And with Usain Bolt, we saw this result, ladies and gentlemen, 8 gold medals in Olympic Games. Yes, every Jamaican should be proud about this man because he raised the flag of Jamaica everywhere. Everybody knows something about Jamaica only with that guy. It's the same thing for Haiti with Sylvio Cator. In the years of 1920s, it was the man which raised the flag of Haiti all over the world, ladies and gentlemen. So that's mean we can be a poor nation, but with sport, we send a message. We let everybody know that we exist. We give the kids a chance to dream about their future. That's why right now, the only big stadium we have in Haiti, the name of the stadium is Sylvio Cator. Yes, of course, yes, we can say that. Sport is more than a game. Oh, sport is far more than a playing field, ladies and gentlemen. It's a political force, it's a diplomatic force, it's another way to see, to negotiate, to deal with countries. It shapes nation, it changes mindset, it gives voice to those country with no voice. It gives a visibility to those country. Anybody take a look at them. When Usain Bolt make the entire world on his feet, he don't do it for himself. He do it for his country. He do it for Jamaica. He raised the flag of a nation. When Sylvio Cator jumped higher than everyone else in the world in 1920s, he did it for Haiti. At this time, everybody, every Haitian, every black people supposed to be proud of him. That means sport is very, very, very important. And I can remind this sentence about Pierre de Coubertin about sport, about Olympics game. I know it in French. Sport exercise is a human right. Everybody is supposed to have the possibility to make exercise, to practice sport in the right way because it's a game of loyalty, it's a game of fair play, it's a game of solidarity. So every country, every government supposed to let them kids play, practice, and physical exercise. So sport remind us that the true power isn't on weapons to kill people. The true powers isn't sport, isn't dream, is the way your nation believe, the way you shape your nation in the name of sport, in the name of the future, in the name of you have a strong nation and good physical condition. It is the most important. Ladies and gentlemen, it was Coseri. Yes, Coseri. Here we talk about sport and politics, sport and economics, sport and religion, culture, faith. Sport as a tool of development, sport as a soft power. My name is Jean Lerman. I would like you to like, share, and most important, subscribe to this channel for the next video.